So, good evening all. Welcome to the first ever webinar for Capgemini Exceller. So, as you know that almost everybody who is joining into this webinar is aware that the Capgemini has declared the recruitment process. They have announced the process that is supposed to be started. And today we all are here to understand what process, how is the process, how is the test expected to be conducted, and many other things about Capgemini. So first of all, as you can check on the screen, able to see on the screen that I'm presenting right now, I have a presentation deck for you all, and showing the title, everything you must know about Capgemini Exceller. It means that there are a lot many things that you all understand in spite you being into any branch or any college, any eligible college, so that that will help everybody who is aspiring to go into the company Capgemini. So today I'm not going to speak upon what is Capgemini, or I'm not going to tell you any information about the company Capgemini, because everybody of you is more interested to know about lot of things that is being posted into the chat box. So fundamentally, my focus in this presentation is going to be onto those core parts, those core doubts that are coming to your mind, because everybody who is into this webinar is really interested to understand what is Capgemini, what is their criteria, and many other things. But as you can see, today I have got a lecture, everything you must know about Capgemini Exceller. Tomorrow I am going to tell you in detail how to get registered on the platform or on the link that they have given to all the students through the training and placement officers of various colleges. So I'm going to tell you how to get registered, how to fill the data, and how to use that particular platform on which you are going to get registered in future as well. There is a possibility that that particular platform may help you to get placed in a company apart from Capgemini as well. And on Sunday, I'm going to talk about details of assessment. Rather, invariably, I'm going to talk to you on the examination pattern or the test pattern in detail in the later part of the same webinar. So if you allow me to go to the next slide, I have got the next slide for you. As you can check, I have an index. So I usually call it as let's see. We are going to see, first of all, we are going to understand about Exceller. What is Exceller? Then I'm going to tell you about the eligibility criteria, who is eligible, who is not eligible, what about the students, those who have come from the diploma, that they have completed 10th, then they have come to diploma, and then they have joined engineering in the second year. There are many students, those who have done diploma and 12th as well. There are many, there might be many students, those who are from other branches, like mechanical and civil and other. What about them? I'm going to talk on this in the eligibility section. Next is perks. That means what Capgemini is going to offer you into this placement drive if you get selected into the placement, into this particular placement drive, and if you become the one of the Capgemini employees, one of the Capgemini team members, what are the takeaways for you? I'm going to talk on that. Next, the most important and very crucial part of this year's campus recruitment process for Capgemini is there is a modification in the test pattern, and there are many changes they have done into their assessment platform. So that I'm going to talk on that. And finally, I'm going to tell you which test platform Capgemini is going to use for their assessment program or assessment test, or this particular Capgemini Exceller campaign. And how is this important? This is really important to understand the pattern of test that is expected in the upcoming particular drive. So let's try to go ahead. Let's try to take this forward. With your permission, I'm going ahead. So I request everybody to just listen to me and very carefully and try to learn as many as things that you can. So let's go ahead. So as you can see, what is Capgemini Exceller? If you read the mail that is being sent to many of the TPOs, and maybe essentially the TPOs, training placement heads, will forward the same email to you. Otherwise, you can also go to the Capgemini's official website and you can check for Capgemini Exceller on the page. There is a sentence written onto that particular website that is experience that empowers you to excel. So what the Capgemini is claiming, Capgemini says that this campus campaign, this particular Capgemini Exceller campaign is going to give you an experience that is going to empower you to excel professionally, technically, as a human being into Capgemini's workplace or Capgemini's working environment or working culture. Now, what is Capgemini Exceller? Fundamentally, in the last previous 2 or 3 years, Capgemini was going to few colleges, right? Few colleges, and recently, since last maybe a couple of years, they are trying to add, or they have added multiple colleges into this drive. And this year also, Capgemini has added many colleges into this particular campaign, campus campaign. So fundamentally, somebody can call it Exceller as a recruitment drive or for technical graduates 2021. I call this as a state level virtual campus campaign. Now, this word state level is very important. Everybody who is watching this webinar, who is attending this webinar, should listen to me very carefully. I'm talking with a lot of responsibility. There is a high possibility, there is a high probability that this year, this particular Capgemini Exceller will be held for the entire Maharashtra state level. The test will be held on the same day, on the same time for all the students. And that is the reason Capgemini, for Capgemini Exceller, what I have written in my presentation is it's going to be a democratized opportunity to few colleges, a democratized opportunity to few colleges across Maharashtra and maybe pan-India to associate as an analyst. Now, everybody should understand one thing, that there are few colleges across Maharashtra and pan-India. Now, you have to make sure, you have to cross-verify whether your college is into this particular campus campaign. Is your college eligible? Is your college has participated or not? You have to cross verify this year with this technical maybe your training placement head, because that is ultimately going to give you a clarity whether you are eligible or not. So what I mean by democratized opportunity, what I mean by this is fundamentally this test is going to be highly standardized, and the second is as you're going to give it on the same time at the same date, there will be a healthy competition, there will be a equal opportunity to all of you to be a part of Capgemini, which is a multinational company since many years. Probably in my next session tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, I'm going to tell you a detailed information about Capgemini as a company, as an employer, because when it comes to interview, you have to have enough knowledge about the company that you are appearing for. So maybe in the next session, I'm going to talk on that. So if you are able to understand what is Capgemini Exceller, typically it's just a drive, a recruitment drive for graduates, those who are going to get passed in 2021, that is in the next June. Let's go ahead, and the most important, at the end of the this slide, I have highlighted the word analyst. That means the post, the designation that Capgemini Exceller is going to offer to the graduates, fresher engineers or MCA people is going to be analyst. The designation is analyst. Now, as you can see that we have done with the exploring Exceller, and now this is the time to take this forward with this point eligibility. So let's go ahead and check eligibility. Many of the students, those who are into this webinar, are very serious, or they are eager to understand what is the eligibility criteria. Now, I'm sure that many of you are going to have doubt. Many of you will have this particular doubt that how is you may have a doubt that what about the eligibility, who is eligible, and there will be a lot of doubts. So what I suggest is, instead of putting your doubts into the chat box right now, once I will finish with my session, I will give you a dedicated time for question and answer session, where I will take the questions one-on-one. You can unmute your mic at that time, and I will talk to you personally, so that there will be no confusion. So what is eligibility that they have said? Basically, the first point here is the qualifications, or the I can say the educational qualification that is allowed for this campus is BE, BTech, and MCA. This is really important. If any of your friend is learning in MCA, is graduating, is completing his post graduation, or pursuing his post graduation in MCA, share this link with him. Share this details of Capgemini Exceller with him or her as well, so that he will be benefited. The next point here is, Capgemini is allowing computer science, information technology, and the most important, circuit branches. Now, what I mean by, or what Capgemini is referring to circuit branches is, they are allowing electronics, ETC, instrumentation, electrical, maybe control system, and many other branches, maybe mechatronics as well, many other branches, those who are related to the basic domain of electronic engineering and circuit branches. What I mean by, any branch which is related with circuits is allowed into this particular campus drive. Now, to take this forward, you can see that, you can check that Capgemini is expecting engineering aggregate to be 60%, 12th or diploma to be 60%. This is minimum 60%. So somebody had asked a doubt before this webinar, was the doubt was whether 61% is sufficient. Obviously, anything which is above 60% is sufficient, more than sufficient to be eligible for this. Now, what about 10th? About 10th, again, you have to have 60%, a minimum 60%. Now, the last two statements that you can check into the presentation slide, they are 1 year gap between 12th and first year is allowed. This is very important. And finally, there should not be any active backlog. There should not be any ATKT, active ATKT in the semester. So what I mean by that, there will be a lot of confusion now about this. Due to COVID-19 pandemic, the exams were not conducted. Still the exams were not conducted, right? So in case you have some backlog in the previous semester, in the earlier semester, that means in the sixth semester, your exam is not being conducted. Now, there may be a student who has a backlog, ATKT, in the fifth semester, right? Now, in this particular situation, you have to talk to your training placement head, and you have to write an email to the authorities of Capgemini, so that there will be a clarity into that particular area, that whether if a student has an ATKT in the fifth semester, and as the exams are not being conducted, into this particular sixth semester, what can you do? According to me, all the students, those who do not have any backlog, any ATKT in the fifth semester or the earlier semesters, they are eligible. Now, in case you have a backlog in the fifth semester, you have all the right to talk to these authorities, because as the exams were not conducted, you have a benefit of doubt, you have a benefit of situation that the company should allow you, and they may consider this because it's a very nice company, it's a very cooperative company, and they will definitely help you to deal with this particular situation. Now let's go ahead, as we have done with the eligibility. Now let's go ahead with the perks. Basically, Capgemini has offered a package of 3.80 lakhs per annum. Now, I have more information about you here. I'm sure that nobody, no training agency will be able to tell you the differentiation between two profiles or two offers, two roles that is being offered by Capgemini right now. Basically, Capgemini hires students for two profiles. One is digital profile, they call it as digital, and the other is infrastructure. The other is infrastructure. So fundamentally right now they have there is no clarity that for which post they have offered this 3.80. There is no clarity, but what I personally feel is, as the pseudocode test is being introduced into this test that I'm going to cover in the later part of this presentation, that as the pseudocode is into the test, this particular package and this particular process is belonging to the digital profile, correct? So the package that they have offered is 3.80. Now this is digital learning program. You can check their website. They have an agreement, they had signed an MOU with Coursera, and they have exposed their employees to learn a lot of courses over Coursera. Along with it, they have started providing some digital learning tools to their employees so that you can learn at any point of time by using the Capgemini platform. Now, to take this ahead, as I have done with perks, I'm going to tell you the modified pattern. So here is on your slide. This is a very, very important thing that you all have to understand. This is really crucial that you all should know what all are the steps that is being conducted in this assessment test. So fundamentally, the very first round, the very first assessment that this Capgemini Exceller examination or assessment is going to have is the pseudocode test. Now, what is pseudocode test? Pseudocode is basically a type of coding technology, or it is a type of code where you can use simple English or normal English language instead of I could say, instead of these complex syntaxes into the various languages like C and Java. Now, this pseudocode test will have an input given on your screen, and there will be 4 options as the part of output. That is objective based pseudocode test, that is technical assessment. Earlier in the Capgemini's assessment, they were used to have passage writing for the assessment, but this year what they have done is you will be having an objective type English test. There will be some fill in the blank questions, there will be some I could say reading comprehension questions, sentence correction, close test kind of thing. So you will have some questions from English ability, and there will be 4 options. It's objective type of test to check your English ability. Now, the third and the most important is they have gamified cognitive ability. They are going to give you a gamified, that is gamification. They have implemented gamification into this assessment test to check your cognitive ability. Now, there are around 120 verticals. Are you listening to me carefully? I'm asking this question intentionally, and I want you to reply 1 into this particular. I want you to type 1 into the chat box. I'm going to tell you something very important about gamified cognitive ability. Are you there with me? Great, that's really great. What they have done is they have developed a simulator where they are going to test your cognitive ability from 100 and approximately 120 verticals. What I mean by vertical is there will be 120 types of skills, or maybe I could say there will be 120 types of questions or types of games, and they are going to give you 6 games out of that. So randomly out of this 120 verticals, you will get 6 games on your screen, and you are supposed to respond to the game to solve that particular puzzle to complete that particular level. On the basis of you and you, the difficulty level of the game is going to change. It's going to increase. If you're going giving correct answers, it's going to increase the difficulty level into your test. So we have built this kind of test with us, and we are going to share it with you, so that you all will be able to get the feel of that environment or the feel of the type of questions. Basically, this kind of cognitive ability involves spatial sense, number sense, and then words and vocab sense. All these things are or puzzles, pseudocodes, matrix, symbols, relation of symbol and numbers, and many other things. So this is really important that you should be prepared for this kind of test. Are you getting my point? Listen my words carefully. There are 120 verticals, and out of which randomly you are going to get 6 questions or 6 games for 24 minutes. I hope you have understood what I have shared about gamified cognitive ability. Please type 1 if you allow me to go ahead. Please type 1 so that I can take this forward. Please type 1. Okay, all right. The next, if you observe my presentation today, I would like to hear your comment as well about the presentation slides, the way these are being prepared. I would like to seek your feedback on that as well in the later part of my webinar. But if you observe, I have used checkboxes to first 3 levels. That is, there is a green color checkbox for Sudoku test. There is a green color checkbox for objective English test, and there is a green color checkbox for gamified cognitive ability. But in behavioral competency, I have a which is and with a cross. So what I'm trying to represent over here is the first 3 rounds are going to decide your eligibility, or they are going to decide your result, whether you will be shortlisted for the interview round or not. So your score in the Sudoku test, your score in the objective English test, your score in the gamified cognitive abilities is going to decide, is going to be a role player in your shortlisting for the interview. Now, there is a high possibility that the students having very high score in the Sudoku test will be interviewed for the digital profile. And students who have comparatively less score in the Sudoku test will be interviewed for infrastructure. Are you able to understand my point? So I'm in my next session, when I'm going to talk about Capgemini company, I will explain, I will tell you in detail what is this digital and what is this infrastructure. I will tell you this in detail. So now, what is this behavioral competency? Fortunately or unfortunately, this behavior competency is not going to decide or not going to be a part of shortlisting marking scheme, or that is not going to be there will not be any evaluation on the basis of behavioral competency. As soon as you will solve the behavioral competency into that platform, your test will be completed, and you will get a detailed report about your personality type, personality pattern, or email. But definitely the personality pattern that you have, these strengths, weaknesses, or opportunities or traits that you have is definitely going to be very crucial while you're interviewing. So in spite or besides that, this behavioral competency is not going to be the evaluation parameter, but indirectly, invariably, this is going to help you during your interview round, technical and HR interview round. So we have to take this seriously. This behavioral competency is something that is very new into the assessment ecosphere, but we shikuyaa will definitely help you to understand what is behavior competency, how we should study, how we should prepare for this behavior competency section or segment. And finally, as you can see, again there is a green checkbox, that is, this interview round is going to decide your future, decide your presence, decide your result into Capgemini. So let me summarize. These are the 5 rounds, or these are the 5 assessment types of assessments that you're going to face: pseudocode test, objective English test, gamified narrative ability. These 3 are going to be evaluated for shortlisting. Behavioral competency, it doesn't going to decide your evaluation, but this report is going to help you in the interview. And finally, they will conduct an interview and then they will tell you. The most important point here, many of you might have this doubt that how this test would be conducted. Am I right? Am I right? Yes. Shubham Mandlik, I'm going to talk on the behavioral competency in my separate session. I'm going to explain you all the details of this behavioral competency in the session, in the next session, as we are conducting today. So what I was telling you, you might have this doubt how they are going to conduct this test, whether they are going to allow students to travel down from their home to the college or any center of assessment. That is not the case. I'm going to comment on that part in my next slide. So shall I move ahead? Shall I go ahead? If you allow me to go ahead, please type 1 quickly. Please type 1. Sorry for the disturbance. Sorry for the disturbance. So let me just take this forward. So as you can check on the presentation slide, we have completed with the 4 points that we were supposed to talk on, and now this is the time to move ahead, to go ahead, to flip into the next slide. So let's understand the test platform. So basically, this is a very important thing. Everybody who is watching this webinar, please understand, this is a virtual recruitment drive. This is going to be a virtual recruitment drive. What I mean by this entire campus will be held from your home or your own location. You can give this test by sitting at your home. You can appear for this examination from your own location, from wherever you are. So this is very important. This year, they are going to conduct a virtual campus drive. Can you understand my point? Are you getting my point? So everybody who is watching this webinar should understand that this is a very Ojas sir, if possible, remove that Jay Jain from the session. Remove this fellow. Ojas sir. Ojas sir.
It is done.
Are you there with me?
It is done.
Remove him.
Yes, he has been removed, sir.
Okay, so I was telling you that this entire drive will be virtual. Drive will be conducted virtually. The registration process is already started. You can
Yes, sir, I have already.
you might have received the link as well. or probably we will give you the
Yes,
link
sir.
of
I have.
registration in
Yes,
my
sir. I
tomorrow
have.
session, how we are going to get registered. So basically the registration, in the first step, in the initial stage, you have to register yourself with the platform Supernet. It's a company from Bangalore. You have to register there. After that, your online assessment test will be conducted on Aon. That is a very innovative, and very beautifully crafted platform, Aon, that is CoCubes. And after the registration on the superset, you have to test on Aon platform. So the next important part is this test. You can attend or you can appear this test on both the platforms, that is mobile, your smartphone, and your desktop as well. So probably what is more comfortable for you, you can use this platform. And finally, again, you will be invited, the shortlisted students from the online assessment will be invited to the platform of Supernet for interviews. So first of all, as you can see, the highlighted area, that is the registration process and interview, are going to be conducted by Supernet, and the online assessment will be conducted by Aon. Everybody who is watching this session, have you understood my point? I will give you the registration link maybe tomorrow. Perfect. Now, there is a doubt that will be coming to your mind. This is very important, that we are going to give this examination from homes. We will be at home, we will be sitting at home, and we will be having a lot of infrastructural issues while giving the test. The very first doubt that will be coming to your mind is there is a possibility that the internet may go during the test, right? Or there is a possibility that in the given slot we won't be having internet availability. So basically, don't worry about all these things. See, definitely, as the company authorities have decided to conduct this kind of test, they might have already taken care of all these things. The first and the most important thing, there is a lot of proctoring features they have added to the certificate drive. Proctoring is supervision. Like if a student is sitting at home, now there is a possibility that he could ask somebody else to sit beside him, and he could ask that give me the answers, tell me the answers, and now he can put this answer into the assessment test. So this is what we call it as malpractices, right? So fundamentally, this company is taking care of all these factors as well. The platform that they have used is enabled with all the proctoring features, correct? Vishal, web proctored. Vishal, on the next slide you will get all the proctoring features of this particular test. So as you can see on my screen, these are the features, or there could be more features available into this. First of all, there will be face detection. So whoever is going to appear for the test, face detection, they will verify the candidate. Next is there will be multiple face detection. Sorry, correct. So what is going to happen here is they will check whether some other face is coming into the, the area of influence of the screen. If there is a multiple face detected or identified, then there will be that particular candidate may be disqualified on the grounds of malpractices. Second important point here is impersonation detection. Means if somebody else is into some amount of the premises, other person is in coming into the environment of the test, is going to come into the picture, then there will be a detection. Most importantly, there is an object detection as well. Again, there is live audio feed. What does it mean? It means that if somebody is sitting beside you, then that audio will be captured and that audio will be uploaded to the cloud of the test platform. And during the assessment or during the final declaration of result, they are going to consider whether somebody has prompted, whether somebody has given some answers, and then the candidate has given or selected the options into test environment. They're going to check it. And finally, the most important, there will be a live video feed. What I mean by this, the entire video will be captured while you are giving this test, and this entire video will be uploaded to cloud. So in case if you are trying to have some malpractices, you will be directly fired or you will be directly disqualified from the test. Are you getting my point? I'm waiting for your responses. Have you understood the proctoring? Perfect. Somebody has asked this doubt that can we use notebook? Yes, definitely you can use notebook. You can use notebook for rough work. There is no problem at all. So let me just take this ahead. And please remember, as I can see, there are more than 200 students on the webinar, now, right now. I'm going to cover all the proctoring features. I'm going to share the experience, how to handle these things, how to deal with these things. I'm going to tell you in detail in my upcoming webinars till the date when Capgemini is going to come. So you just don't worry, keep your worries aside, just focus on to your studies. As Zui Vaidya has said, gamified cognitive ability, share gamified cognitive. We'll do it, you don't worry. Maybe in the upcoming next week, we are going to give you this kind of test as well, so that you can have a feel of it. So finally, I'm towards the end of my I'm at end of the my session today. So we have completed the information about Exceller, eligibility, perks, modify pattern, test platform, and proctoring. Now, the most important point that I want to share with you all is, even though I have shared the 5 stages of this particular test, as you can see on the screen, I have shared all the phases, but I have not shared the sample questions right now. Am I right? I have not shared sample questions. Everybody type 1, correct? So I am going to share sample questions from pseudocode, objective English, gamified cognitive ability, behavioral competency, and interview as well in the session that I'm going to conduct on Sunday, so that we can give a dedicated time, a deserving test pattern in more detail. We can deep dive into the session. Are you getting my point? So if you are okay with this, if you are ready to attend a separate session on assessment details on Sunday, type 1. Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So after completing the these things, I just want to remind you again that we will have a session on how to register tomorrow, right? And Sunday, we are going to talk on the assessment test. I'm going to share the time which is given to each and every section. Very important. This is very crucial. Try to understand my point. I'm going to tell you in depth for pseudocode how many questions are going to be there and how much time we will have. For this English test, how many questions are going to be there, how many questions are there, and what time is given. Then we will talk about the behavioral competency as well, how many questions are supposed to be there, how they are going to evaluate. I'm going to talk to you on these things in detail, right? So to take this forward, now this is the time to move ahead, to go ahead with the doubts if you have any. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to keep this particular slide as it is. Those who have seen our YouTube channel, please go to YouTube and search Shikuyaa. You can follow us by using Instagram with the name @shikuyaa4. You can follow us, and you can join our group, which we have recently or which we have specifically created for Capgemini Exceller. Maybe Ojas sir will help you to know more about this group, so that everybody who has into the session can come and they can join our Telegram for more details and more updates. By that time, I would request you all to ask